Let me recap this entire video in just about a minute, then if you want to stick around for the nitty-gritty details, you're free to do so. We start off with our governor, Ron Desantis, and what he recently proposed in our legislative session to save homeowners in Florida from dying a slow, bankrupt life due to all the issues in the real estate market. To start, he wants to commit $107 million to this My Safe Florida Home Grant Program. You get to improve your home with a new roof or hurricane impact windows, and the governor pays you to do so. In fact, he pays you a lot of money, not the whole thing, but a lot. This program is amazing and you should apply to get in queue because the funds have dried out and DeSantis wants to replenish it once again. Next, our governor proposed a permanent exemption on flood insurance policies. All the details are not clear, but be sure of this. If you have flood insurance on your property, you're going to save money. How much? Y'all Florida homeowners will cumulatively save about $22 million. That's what I'm talking about. The biggest thing Ron is doing is the proposal that's worth $409 million in the first year alone. The elimination of fees, taxes, and assessments on insurance policy. And once they math out all the math, they're estimating all insurance rates will go down by about 6%. Now that's a far cry from the doubling or tripling of insurance rates in the last 5 years or so. Then we talk about what happened. Why did this happen? Well, people are going to jail, y'all, because they decided to rip off homeowners. And this is one of the contributing factors. And those people caused the insurance rates to go up by ripping off an elderly lady. And then the storm chasers are out. They're one of the biggest problems in Florida. And then there's contractors ripping off the homeowners in the short run and in the long run, crippling the insurance industry. Contractors are taking your money and poof, disappear, never to be heard of again. We talk about what is happening, so protect yourself. Nobody's going to do it for you. Use a preferred vendor who has been vetted by the insurance company. We also go over insuring our insurance companies to insure the reinsurance companies as well. Well, if this is confusing to you, don't worry, it's pretty simple. But the bottom line is that your insurance company likes to spread the risk of their investment and sell some of the profits to other companies who insure their risk. Okay, maybe this is a little confusing, but we go over this near the end of the video. And if you were to guess why your insurance rates have doubled or maybe tripled in the last 2 to 3 years, I reveal the answers, so watch along. And also, I reveal a way that you can stop paying for reinsurance. This is unconventional and it will get a lot of scrutiny, but I think it's genius. So let's get started as I sit at the park on Siesta Key's main beach access and dive deeper into these topics. So now let's dive a little bit deeper into what I just talked about by going in depth into what DeSantis has done and how the insurance market is going to be affected and what happened in the first place. Why did all these rates go up? By the way, my name's Maciek Zaremba. I'm a real estate agent in Sarasota, Florida. And if you have any questions about the local market, just reach out to me through all my socials. So first, let's talk about the $107 million that DeSantis has proposed for the My Safe Florida Home Grant Program. Basically, this is a really, really good program if you already own your home. All you have to do is apply online on the official government website, and then you'll be put in a long queue. But basically, you can get up to 2/3 of the dollar amount that you're spending on certain improvements, like hurricane impact windows, for example, free as a grant from the government. This is a really, really good program, and a lot of people have taken advantage of it. So don't wait, because there's a lot of people waiting for this program. So just get on the list right now as soon as possible. Now, what makes this program so important is basically all the hurricanes, right? Because this is like a program for the hardening of the exterior shell of your home. So your roof, your exterior openings, like hurricane impact windows, like maybe hurricane impact doors and sliding glass doors. There's actually a whole list of things that you can apply for depending on what you want to do to improve your property. But this isn't going to give you money to remodel your bathroom or to remodel your kitchen. That's not an exterior hardening component. Okay, so what else has DeSantis proposed? This is a big one here for flood insurance. So if you have a flood insurance policy, which is basically for people who have a loan and are in a flood zone that requires you to get flood insurance, DeSantis proposed a permanent exemption on flood insurance policies. Now, this proposal itself is worth $22 million. This is a huge contribution to a lot of homeowners in Florida because, as you know, there's a lot of Florida properties that are in flood zones. But the biggest thing that Ron Desantis has proposed is a one-year exemption on taxes, fees, and assessment for homeowners insurance policy. This will save taxpayers $409 million in 1 year alone. And the best part is that it's estimated to decrease your insurance premiums by 6%. This comes directly from the government statistics. Now there's two more things that he's proposed in his legislature. The first one is a $675,000 commitment to contract for an independent reinsurance and mitigation research experts. What they're going to do is they're going to review filings and recommend new tools in order to mitigate properties from hurricanes. So this is actually really important because hurricanes are a very large component of every single Florida homeowners insurance policy holder. Okay, when you get your bill and you look at how much the wind portion is compared to the non-wind portion, you're going to see it's easily over 50%, because that's when most of the claims happen, is when there's a hurricane or a named storm. So the governor has committed $675,000 to go and review what's going on and how can we make this more efficient and better. And now I know that's a large expense, $675,000, but if they can find a single thing to improve for all Florida homeowners, then this is going to save way more money than that to the actual homeowners. Now you may be wondering, why do we have these insurance increases in the first place? From article to article, you'll be reading that homeowners insurance went up by 100%, sometimes 200% in the last 3 years. And is that true? Well, partially yes. And you may think that it's only because we've had hurricanes, like for example, Hurricane Ian in September of 2022. And yes, Hurricane Ian did cause quite a bit of problems for the west coast of Florida. However, this is not the only reason. Fraud is a huge reason. So I'm going to reference an article now that I came across that goes over some of the frauds that are going on right now. And yes, some of them are because of Hurricane Ian and people trying to scam the system. First of all, in Boca Raton at the end of October, we had a Nasser Hassan al-Suwaidi, and this person is arraigned on 23 embezzlement and fraud charges. This is ridiculous. If you're running an insurance company, you should not be putting yourself in that position. And then similar charges were brought against 4 Miami men who were accused of carrying out an insurance fraud scheme in September. Investigators said that they tried to defraud an elderly woman of $57,000 of insurance payouts. Listen guys, this is just ridiculous. If you're in the business of ripping off old folks, or ripping off any folks for that matter, shame on you, you deserve to go down. And I'm pretty sure Mr. Ron Desantis, our governor, is going to make sure that that happens. He's taken way too many steps and spending so much money to try to bring down the insurance rates that he's not going to put up with this kind of crap. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of pressure to take down these people. And then we also had an arrest in Lee County for how much? $214,000, a fraud scheme. Doesn't surprise me. Now listen, insurance fraud in the United States is a $300 billion a year annual problem. That's right, $300 billion. That's a third of $1 trillion every single year. It's a huge problem. This is definitely contributing to problems that we are having in Florida, because every time we have a major storm, there's a whole bunch of people that come out of the woodwork, and all of a sudden they try to get you to assign the benefits to them. It's an assignment of benefits is what the form is called. And then they go all the way, hire an attorney, and push as far as they can to extract as much money from the insurance companies as possible. This is okay as a business practice if you're doing it properly, but when you're just squeezing every last penny, you're actually doing a disservice to that homeowner that you're serving. You're not here to try to make the most out of every single lemon. What you're trying to do is do the right thing. If a roof got blown off, you fix it. Okay? You're not trying to go and say all these other things are wrong and then providing falsifying evidence. So one of the things you have to pay attention to and really be careful of is whenever there's a storm that hits a particular area, what happens is licensed or even unlicensed people from out of state come in to the storm damaged areas. They start door knocking, looking for people that have problems. They take money up front to repair, and guess what? They disappear. They just straight up defraud you. This is very common, and it used to be more common than it is now. But it still happens all the time, especially to the elderly, when they just don't know to check the credentials of those contractors, to check their history, their reviews online, and all of that. Now, one thing you can do to protect yourself is use a preferred contractor by your insurance company. They actually vet these people. They check making sure that they have all the insurance they need to run their business, and then also all the reviews of past clients. You can go and have this part pre-vetted by the insurance company, and then you can vet them yourself. Now, you can go on the website of the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation and check if these contractors are licensed. This is super important depending on what you're doing, but especially for a roof, especially for a big contract job. If you're paying anything more than $3,000 for a job, check that these people are licensed. And now there is one other thing that's really causing quite a bit of insurance increases. And this is something that's called the Florida reinsurance market. So what is reinsurance? In a simple way, it's basically insurance for insurance companies. What insurance companies like to do is they like to spread their risk. They don't like to have all their eggs in one basket. They're going to go and pay another company that offers reinsurance and pay for a policy. So if they end up having a major catastrophe in an area where they hold a lot of policies, they won't have major losses because they're going to have a reinsurance company that's going to help share some of those losses. So this is definitely an added expense to your insurance policy, because if they never did that, then they wouldn't bear that expense, right? So now you are paying for your insurance company to buy insurance, so that they don't go out of business should something really catastrophic happen. And look, it makes sense in a way, but it truly is an additional expense that you don't need to bear. But here's what makes it worse, is that reinsurance companies also buy reinsurance. This is just absurd, because how many layers deep does this go? And who ends up paying for it? The person at the very bottom, and that's you and me. And if you're just wondering how big of an impact does a reinsurance make on your actual policy, you're not going to believe it. Up to 2/3 of your insurance premium that you are paying is actually just for reinsurance. To me, this is mind-boggling, and I can't believe it got to this level. And basically, one insurance company that you may be underwriting under has numerous companies that they purchase reinsurance from, so that everyone kind of bears a little bit of the risk, or no one bears the majority portion of the risk. So listen, after Hurricane Ian in September of 2022, our reinsurance rates skyrocketed. The January 2023, reinsurance rates went up 45% from the year before. And then just 6 months later, in June, they went up another 20 to 40%. Well, listen, no wonder your insurance premiums have doubled or tripled in the last 3, 4, 5 years, because reinsurance has gone up so much. So how can you go and find a company that does not use reinsurance? The short answer is you can't. You are that insurance company. Here's what I mean by that. You can do what's called self-insurance as long as you don't have a mortgage. And quite a few homeowners do this. Also, investors do that. The idea is simple. If you go get a quote for your insurance policy, let's just say you have a single family home worth $500,000, paid for, no mortgage. And your insurance would be, let's just say, $6,000 per year. Well, what some people do is they self-insure. They take $6,000 and put it in a separate bank account, and now they have $6,000 in case something happens. The next year, they do the same thing, and then they put that money away. They probably should increase it by about 20% at least, because it does go up every single year. So now you have $12,000 in the account, and you keep doing that over and over and over, and build up this fund, basically, that usually you would be paying insurance companies to insure you. But this time you're doing it self-insured. And not everyone can do this. You have to have your home paid off. But you know, in Florida, in our area, 50% of homes are purchased using cash. So we do have quite a few people that actually have no mortgage whatsoever. Look, DeSantis is doing his best to help Florida homeowners like you and me, because our insurance problem has gone out of control, like I mentioned, because of fraud and because of reinsurance expenses. But what can you do about this? First of all, you can shop your insurance policy. You have to do a 4-point inspection and you have to do a wind mitigation report. Go get those done. It's going to cost you about $300. And then go and start shopping with every single insurance carrier in the state of Florida. There's only about 20 of them. See who will write the policy and then start comparing apples to apples, what exactly is covered under each policy, and then you can make a decision which policy is best for you. And I have a quick question. Do you happen to know what's going on with home equity lines of credit? Watch this video.